Oh, good.
Hey, now we're live.
Yes, we are. I'm just going to shut this YouTube off here in just a second and we'll be good to go. I have to wait till it's all the way done. Oh, look at that. We're live. Perfect.
No intro today for the breakdown.
No intro. We are rolling with it,
Yeah.
literally, because I got no power.
No power. It's campfire with Johanna. Actually, candlelit. Candlelit with Johanna and Tanya Lee. We are on episode 117. Can't believe we're already on our 7th episode, even though we say 117.
Yeah.
Time flies. So, what was the first thing that you said to me when you sent this link when we were going to post this? What did you say that came right after?
I don't know.
You said patience, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then, and then so we get on, and then Joanna goes, "My power's out." And I was like, "What? No, it's not." And then all of a sudden, black.
And then light and then black and then light and then black. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do this. We're just going to, I have my laptop hooked to my cell phone service and my battery backup charging my phone and a bazillion candles around me. So we're star seeding it up tonight. We're really pulling out all the effects for you.
We are, and that's our topic today is Starseeds. Johanna wanted to do this for quite some time, wanted to do this topic. And, when we were talking about it, it was like, well, what are we going to go over? There's so much. Like, we could probably go over like a zillion things on this. So
There
tonight
is.
we're just going to be breaking down a little bit of the origin, going over some characteristics and some of the types and so forth on here. And we are going to have some fun with this. It's going to be very low key tonight. No crazy homework or anything like that.
What?
So,
No crazy homework.
I know. I felt like last week's was so deep when we did the Hermetic philosophy that we're like, okay, now go read the Kabbalion. It's like, good luck.
I
So,
wonder if anybody actually like read the Kabbalion. I
I
wonder if
read
they
it.
just went and like,
Oh, we're losing you on audio. I hope your audio gets better.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh boy. Johanny is
Well,
still
I
there. We lost.
didn't. Can
You sound like a robot right now.
you hear me?
Yeah, now
Can
I
you
hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yeah, now I
Can
hear
you hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
We're having a
Yeah.
little rough start here, guys,
Okay,
because
so
we're
I'm here.
you are so delayed. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to do this. It's really delayed.
Well, maybe we should have hand signals.
All right. So let me see if anyone is in here, if they can comment to make sure that they actually can hear us properly, since we had a little bit of a sound issue. So I just want to make sure if anyone is on there. I see, we have a couple of people. If you're on, make sure you hit like. We love those likes. Say hello. I just want to make sure that we are okay with sound before we start this. All right. I think we are. I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
Starseeds. Let's go. So
Before
we're
we
go
before we
ahead.
go into star seeds though, let's talk about the energy that's just for a minute because we've been knee deep this month and I just did my energy update and so I saw that you put on the notes that you wanted to talk about the energy. So let's talk about it for a minute.
Yeah. Well, obviously you can tell with our connection, it's been frazzled. So, between the between the solstice and the full moon, and what almost feels like Armageddon in the energy field, it has been a doozy of the week. Johanna, I know you just did a report this week on the energy, but for anybody who has been feeling it this week, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. It's been rough. It's been rough in anxiety, paranoia, emotions. People are having physical illnesses. It's all coming up this week. We hear you. We
Yeah.
know.
And we're sending you love because let me tell you, when you get into I consider myself a little bit of a seasoned pro at this ascension shit because well, crap, I've gotten a little accelerated dose of hell for the past few years moving through it. But what I can tell you is when I get knocked down hard, I'm like, whew, man, I pray for people. I pray for you. But this is the thing that they wanted everybody to know the most is that June is such a catalytic month, and so is July. That these are the 2 months that really just kind of flip people upside down. A lot of people, get close to that edge of quitting. And I mean, quitting anything, quitting their marriage, quitting their job, quitting their business, just really getting soul tired and over it. But what I can tell you is the very best thing that you guys can do, because tomorrow's the solstice. We have a lunar or a solar eclipse coming. We have the galactic new year. We have all of these things, is just to surrender so freaking deeply that you have, like, you're just laying down on the floor and you're just like, I'm going to allow whatever needs to take its course to take its course. Because once you do that, it kind of eases up on you and it's not so bad. That and I can't say this enough because this has come up a couple of times. So I'm just going to say these two things about this energy because it's just been so crazy. Is choose you and your well-being before you choose anything else. And the second part, and I wish somebody would have told me this a week and a half ago because this really changed things for me, is whatever energy you're experiencing in this moment, whatever intense emotion from whatever is coming up from the past, because I mean, we got some deep roots that are getting uprooted right now, for us to really let go of some shit. Whatever that emotion is that you are focusing on from the past, you can't change it. You can't change the past. It's done. You can't even change this moment because it's happening right now and right now. Whatever the energy that is in, whatever that fear or that worry or that stress or that pain, all it's doing is changing your future. It's just changing your future because that emotion, that thought feeds that emotion feeds that action. So if it's when you have those overwhelming emotions, because you will, if you haven't already, I mean, I've had them, Tanya's had them
all week.
What you need to, is ask yourself, you're not bypassing it, but sometimes we need a little bit of break. We need a little bit of relief. So ask yourself, what do you want to feel instead? And how can I feel that? What can I do that can give me that kind of feeling right now? And go to that and give yourself a little bit of solace. It's okay. It's okay to do that. And so I'm telling you that, I spent a good about 4 days focusing on an energy of something that happened a long time ago. And all it did was screw up the days in front of me and not change a damn thing about what had already happened. And when I had that revelation, I was like, oh, wow, I created this. I created this chaos around me when I didn't have to. And so if that's anything you can take away from this, take away that.
I think that's a good segue too for what we're going into with Starseeds, because that's part of the mission of a Starseed, and we'll go into that, is with allowing this certain things to come up in our lives so that we can ascend. So, this kind of goes hand in hand with it. So what we're going to be discussing, if you're new to the topic of Starseeds, we're going to break it down in this episode. So Starseeds. There's a couple different variations and origins of where this started. And, when I started going this loophole of researching it, because it's like one thing to say, okay, what's a starseed? And you can go into that belief system, but there's all different variations of this. There was some key things that I found, and one that interests me was they believe the origin of the theory of the starseeds is traced back to a man named Brad, I think it's Steger, in 1976 with a book called Gods of Aquarius. Now, this is a new age belief. It's based on a fringe theory, but it argues that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived on Earth through birth as a walk-in to an existing human body, also known as star people. That's a term taken from the Native American spiritual concepts. But further along, what is a starseed? Basically, and this is just to wrap all of some of these theories that come in play, outside of what Brad had started in this book, is that, yeah, you're an ET, but it's chosen to come back in a human form to experience and ascend to help the earth. And it's not just in a sense of, hey, we're here to live with the people and all that. It's really to help mankind, society, the earth, Gaia. So that was their mission. Now, the thing is when they are ascended here on earth, they don't remember anything. It's amnesia. It's complete, like no sign of anything. And the theory is that there's a point in that starseed's life where they will be triggered to activate, to remember. And that remembering can be something that is prominent, such as whether it's a trauma or something that really hard happened to that person's life. There's all different kind of theories on it, but the point is it triggers this activity of awakening up, and that's the whole reason of people have gotten the term awaken. And during this process, they are ascending. Now, some of the things with the star seeds is that once they're woken up, they know that they have a mission. They may struggle with knowing exactly what that mission is, but they want to help. They want to help. So that, and then Johanna, if you have anything to add on there, that's really the gut of what a starseed is. But we'll go into some of the characteristics as well, because I'm curious how many of you out there feel these characteristics out here or can relate to them, because I kind of feel like, and I don't know about you, Johanna, but I feel like everyone is a starseed. I mean, how is it possible that no one could just not be a starseed? I feel like something has to come through here if this theory does exist, that if there's other dimensions, or like other planets, other beings out there, how could we all like not be something from here if that's the case?
Well, so the Council of Light is here for this, and they're 12th dimensional beings, and they want to chime in because they do not agree with what you are saying, and so they want to bring in their perspective. And
excellent, let's bring it on.
I just want to put it out there for you guys right now and say that there is no right or wrong. So this is always perspective, no matter who I'm channeling or who we research. So you take what you want and leave what you don't. That's me saying that. So the 12th dimensional Council of Light wants to come in and say that that yes, everybody is a starseed because we all come from the same consciousness. We all come from the same source of energy, and consciousness in itself is in fact evolving. And so there was a divine plan put in place for beings to come to Earth in a way to help not just Gaia evolve, because she is a sentient being as well, but in order for consciousness itself to evolve, there's certain aspects it wanted to see itself in different ways. So we are all particles of God, as you guys like to call it, or as infinite consciousness as a source. We are all aspects of it. So in that case, we all are star seeds. We all come from the stars or from infinite consciousness. However, a true meaning of the star seed, if we're going to label it this way, is these are people or beings that were seeded to awaken at a certain time to help a paradigm shift take place. There has been many times where Earth or Gaia has been completely wiped out, if you will, and had to kind of start over because it didn't work. There were things that didn't happen. And when that happened, the reptilian consciousness actually lost most of its race. And so it came back and it helped reseed or populate and turning us into the human race. So we all are a mix of different galactic extraterrestrial races, and our brains and our physical aspects are more of a reptilian in nature. But there are people or human beings that are here that have been here over and over again. You guys call it reincarnation, but reincarnation really isn't something that is happening anymore at this time and place. So Gaia is now a fifth dimensional sentient being. And as the human race evolves and moves through these paradigm shifts, your physical bodies are having a hard time handling it, because the physical body is still very much a 3 and 4th dimensional energy. And so you are feeling it more intensely. If you were to speak to someone who, say, has been awake for 30 years, they're not going to have a remembrance of feeling the energy shifts as they are taking place now in the way that we or you guys feel them in this moment. But the star seeds, the ones that were seeded and the ones that were placed here to awaken at a certain time, are put on an accelerated path, because they are here to be the gatekeepers and guides to awaken the rest of humanity, so that everybody can collectively ascend and reach the 5th dimensional plane or state of being, because that is what needs to happen at this time. Everybody collectively needs to get to the 5th dimensional state of being. And it isn't a separate earth like so many often want to call it.
Right.
It's the same earth, it's just at a different frequency. So myself, being Johanna, can stay at a 5 or 6 or 7th dimensional energy, and I will no longer see or interact with the drama of a 3rd or 4th dimension. It won't be something that I attract or really see anymore. It's like there's, as when somebody passes away, they are still right here with us. They are just in another frequency. And that is what it means to move from the 3rd to the 4th to the 5th or 6th, whatever. It is just a frequency or dimension. Anything else? So the star seeds are an accelerated path. So they will move through the ascension process much faster. They will be, they have to move through the evolutionary process at a higher rate of speed so that they can be the guides and gatekeepers and help awaken the rest of humanity.
All right.
That's what I got. I
think, no, that's good. And I don't think that's really a disagreement. Actually, I think that's an add-on to this from what I'm saying, because some of what I have know of these ascended beings that are here on accelerated trace, some of that terms can be indigo children. So those terms that come up, that's the indigo children usually came around like 1978, 1986, where they started coming down here, and they have specific missions, those particular beings. And there's different variations of those indigo children in all sorts. And I know that Lynette, you wrote in here that you were advised you were Blu-ray. Hey, so was I, but I was advised on my own that it was a Blu-ray. Blu-ray. Johanna knows the story. Mm-hmm. They're transmuters, and we'll go a little bit into different races and stuff, but those are part of the indigo children. So I think it's just a different variation of terminology. What I was getting at, and which you pointed out and channeled out there from the council, which I think is interesting, is that they acknowledge that it is starseeds, but there's more to it, that these beings can be more ascended. So there's more to that. So I do love that that message came across, and it kind of brings us down to the characteristics. So what are some of the Starseed characteristics? What I did is there's a article here. I'm going to put it in the description so that you guys can go back to this. So when you're done this episode, you can take a look at this. But this article was put together by Cara, Hebert. This is an article from the Gaia website. But anyway, I wanted to go through the bullets because I wanted to know how many of us identify with this. Or, and some of you might feel a little bit strongly on these. I know when I started to go down this list, I was like, well, sometimes no. And other times like, oh yeah.
Well, and I feel like it evolves as well, because sometimes we don't want to lose our 3D identity. So we kind of deny those aspects of ourselves too.
Yeah. But so the first one says, from a young age, you have had an inherent wisdom that usually comes later in life for other people. I could say that I could relate to that a little bit. I think that's usually almost the term as like an old soul. The other one is, you've been told you're an old soul and you agree, you feel ancient to the core, which kind of goes hand in hand with this.
See, I don't agree with that, because I don't feel ancient. In fact, I don't
either.
And you know what? This is that piece that I was talking to you about before we got on here, because I was telling her, I said, I feel like there's another term, but my team won't, my collective won't give it to me because
For what starseeds aren't, basically,
yeah,
right?
what they're not, because
Yeah.
they're like, there isn't a word, but it is more of an ancient soul. If you ask me, it is the more of the yogis, the ones that are more in their body, the more that are more 3D and really don't have the inkling or the aspects of that. Where me as a star seed, I can tell you from day one, I was always staring up at that moon and the stars. I have never felt at home in my body. And I've always felt like, why am I here? Because this is not my home.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the signs, the types. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think that if there's a different concept of time too. So I think, Johanna, and I know this with you, where you just lose periods of time and I'm like, hello? Like, are we at the
Like
same
full on.
timeline?
Mm-mm.
We the same timeline. So I think that's probably the same thing with age. And if you notice, like you said, the yogis or even the monks who have lived a really long time, and you
Yeah.
wonder, like, what's going on here?
Right.
Is it just mentalism, or is there something more here that we're missing? And most of these beings that are enlightened are ones who recognize their body. They know their body. They are so fully aware of things that it almost doesn't exist. It's like,
Right. And that's another thing that I struggled with as a star seed was, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, and we are not. But
yeah,
your mind and your body are tools, and they are very important in this experience right now. And so it is coming into union with the two to the point of which she just said. That's
yeah.
perfect, it really
Yeah.
is.
So, no matter where you are, you always are feeling homesick. You know what home feels like, even if you can't express it, and you know that your house is not it. This may even lead to depression in some cases. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going through
Exactly.
this right now. I'm going through this
Me
big
too.
time. Like, I just don't feel like I fit in anywhere. Like, I know I'm like my home somewhere, but I'm like, where is it?
Well, you're getting it on a physical aspect too,
Mhm.
but this past week, I wanted to go home, and I wanted to go home in a bad way. And my home,
Mhm.
when I meant that, I meant I wanted to go back to being source. I didn't want to, I was like, this experience can bite it. I was like, this is tiring. My soul was tired. So we have those moments. I had those moments when I was a kid too. It is hard because we remember how peaceful and pure love and energy it is to be just in your energy body, and so it makes it a little hard to be human sometimes.
I think it's hard as a child too, if you are having these symptoms and not quite knowing what it is or how to explain it to your parents, or,
Hmm.
not understand, because assume something's either wrong or it's
Yeah,
their imagination. That's usually the key thing. Like, no, you're seeing things. No, it's not that. It's just your imagination.
that's exactly
And
what happened to me. So I can
it's
agree with
it's
that.
so it so becomes programmed, and it's like, really? Like, so, which leads us to the next one. Even as a child, you have always felt different, as though you are unique and others cannot understand you. You feel divided from the world, as if it is a constant battle of them versus you.
Definitely. But I also feel like this list could also apply to just children who come in awake, and
Mm,
well, everybody comes in awake. Let's be clear about that. Um, but children who refuse to go back to sleep. And that's the energy of the children that are being born right now. The children that are being born and the crystal children are coming in. These children are not, the ones that are coming in are super, super sensitive, and they will not be going back to sleep. They will not be able to be conditioned to go back to sleep. And they will be the ones that will be changing our government in the future, and really just creating this massive change that's going to take place. And so, if you have little ones or you're pregnant right now, understand that they are not going to go quietly. They're going to be like, no, I see, I hear, I feel, they are super sensitive. And so it can be the same. I feel like it's one and the same almost with a lot of these. Don't you agree? Like, it's
yeah.
just some children they just don't go back to sleep. They're not conditioned.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird now. I mean, it's such a different time when we grew up. I mean, technology now is so part of growing up that even that you can see in kids, and sometimes their advancement and you're like, what's going on? So
Oh,
yeah.
for real.
So another one is you often feel morally superior to others regardless of education or social stature. I don't feel this too much. Actually, I feel the opposite. But
No, I agree with you. I don't know anything. I always say I don't know anything, but I can call it in. Because what happens is when you start, I think Tanya's starting to experience this. I know I have a couple of clients who are, but when you start channeling and start really connecting to your galactic heritage, and you know.
oh, we lost you, Johanna. I don't know if you can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can.
Okay. Uh, my husband is home putting the generator on, so it won't be long. But
Okay.
when the ascension process starts happening,
Oh, lost you again. Hold on, people. Technical difficulties. We'll get her back. Hopefully, she'll be back in a second. Johanna, we still can't hear you. I'm hoping we don't lose everyone. Can everyone still hear me? If you can just type in there. I know we got a couple people online here. If you can let us know if you're hearing all of us or just me. Hopefully you guys are seeing me. I'm trying to get Johanna back on here, so give me a second. Hang tight. All right, guys, hang tight. I'm going to try to get Johanna back on here.